I put you in a tight spot. I shouldn't have.
You told me to obey you.
I made a call you didn't like.
No, you insulted my wife.
I questioned one of her decisions.
You don't talk to a man about his wife. I never said a word to you about yours. I didn't get the respect that I gave you, the respect that I earned raising your family.
I had to travel when you kids were young. I was growing the business.
Dad, do you have any idea what it was like for us while you were away? Or were you just so blinded by this unconditional love for that woman?
Don't talk about your mother.
No, Dad, she was an abusive drunk. She was cruel, and we were all scared of her.
She's not here anymore, is she?
One more hand for Michael, guys. Come on. Looking sharp.
How you doing?
Loving the suit, man. Looking sharp as always.
Thank you.
Sharp as always.
I try to keep it clean from time to time.
So I want to get right into Secrets and Lies, man. You're so good in this show. We'll backtrack a little bit later, but right now, Secrets and Lies. I mean, tell me, when you first saw the material for this next season, I mean, for season 2, what was your thoughts? I mean, what were you thinking when you were reading those scripts?
Layers and layers and layers upon drama. I've you know, part of the appeal for me was to, you know, play a guy who was, one, wealthy. I just realized I was never wealthy in anything I've ever done. So that was nice. And then 2, I never had a family. I never had like a real family. I might have had like a brother or something, but I never had like a real family. And so it was interesting to have that, and that was part of the appeal. But as the season progresses, and you can see it in the show, my family is like awful. Yeah. And it made me thankful for my real family because my family in the show is just like, wow, it is just disgusting sometimes. You know what I mean? But this is a reality for certain people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I mean, the people that play your family are fantastic actors. You know, tell me a little bit about, you know, creating the charisma between a cast that has to play a dysfunctional family. I mean, we're meeting with Terry and Jordana. I mean, what are those, hello, I'm going to be the person that hates you, you know, for the rest of the season? What are those meetings like?
You know, it's funny because, you know, chemistry is something that's very important. And in certain situations, it's either there or it's not. And for this show, it kind of had to be there, and because we had no time to really develop it. Like, Jordana and I had to, like, make out on the first day of shooting. It was like the first shot up. It was like, okay, all right, you have no clothes on. Wonderful. This is a great way to start. So that was that, and then the family. Well, we shot the Thanksgiving flashback. From episode 1. We shot that flashback like on like day 2, and that was such a long shoot because there was so much coverage of everybody that was the day we officially bonded. Like, that was like, I knew at that point we were going to have a lot of fun. And, you know, Annalyn McCord, who plays my sister-in-law,
so great, yeah.
Melanie, she had me laughing so hard, take after take, with the stuff that she was doing. And, like, she was dropping food, like, and just not picking it up. And it was like, you're at your in-laws, woman, pick that up. Like, don't, like, she was just like, you know, she had a line that was so great, like, what's the point of having money if you can't have help? And it was like, okay, this character is going to be rich and entertaining. So
yeah.
We developed a lot of chemistry on that one.
That's amazing. I know usually with those eating scenes, it's usually fake eating. Were you guys actually eating the food? I just have to know. Sometimes it's one of those TV hack things.
My poor TV brother, Charlie Barnett. Oh. I always say, you're going to learn. You're going to learn, Charlie. You're going to learn. Don't eat. And
he was actually eating the food.
He was eating. And it was like, I mean, he had to get the spit bucket. I mean, I was like, there's going to be too many takes. You know what I mean? So I've always learned, have food on your plate, but drink. You know what I mean? Just drink some water. But he kept eating. And throughout the season, he made the mistake time and time again. You know, he would, like, eat donuts or pizza or something, and he'd be like, Charlie, you don't really have to do the whole thing. And he would just be like, you know, and he'd do it, and then he'd regret it, and I would laugh.
Well, he's lucky to have a veteran actor like yourself trying to pass down this knowledge, you know.
Yeah, you got to pass it on to the youngins like that. That's what I try to do with Charlie.
I mean, were you pretty in constant? Did you go back and watch season 1? I mean, what was your preparation for the character? How did you sort of research it? I mean, he's almost like, I mean, for people who are fans of The Fugitive, Harrison Ford, I mean, I think that's a very poignant, you know, playing of that sort of character with the you know, accused of killing the wife, you know, sort of thing. What kind of research were you doing into this character?
Interestingly enough, I had just seen Gone Girl. Maybe like a few months before this offer came up, and that was kind of an eye-opening experience for me because how do you say her name? Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund Pike. She was crazy.
Yeah.
And so. But, you know, I thought Ben Affleck did a really good job of playing the role that he did. And it is interesting how the husband is always the prime suspect right away. So for me, that was, you know, Gone Girl was really kind of like, in hindsight, great research. Did I watch the series? I watched like 1 or 2 episodes just to see how the writing was. But I always like to approach jobs with like a fresh perspective. Like I didn't watch About Last Night before we shot the film, and I just finished a remounting of Jacob's Ladder, and I didn't watch that one. There are things that I feel that I can bring organically that I don't want to be compromised by watching the original.
Yeah. And speaking about cast members who are coming back, Juliette Lewis, I mean, she's so amazing. She's such a fantastic actress. I mean, tell me about getting to know her and working with her and what that process was like. You know, you guys are pretty at each other through the whole series. It's a pretty aggressive relationship there.
JL. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. She is a wild child, and I love her to death.
She got a rock band, right? She's like,
yeah. Oh, my goodness. It's intense. It's intense. And but like, it's funny because on camera, all you see is the tension between us and you see us going at it. We would literally take like prison photos in between takes. Like we had so much fun. Like on my phone, I have numerous photos of us. I think I even posted one of her and I like on a golf cart. Oh, wow. We were like 4-year-olds on that set when we were not in the midst of a scene. Like we had a lot of fun making that together. So she's so good. She was a big draw for me to come on board as well because I've enjoyed her work so much for so long. Yeah. For so long.
Yeah. I mean, were you guys just, once you guys realized you were both in it together, did you guys grab lunch or how did you guys sort of start the communication there?
Sadly, we bonded over parental death.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, we both had experienced the loss of a parent, and that instantly bonded us like kind of off screen. And so when we started doing the work, it just kind of felt, you know, like I got you. You know what I mean? Let's keep each other up.
That's amazing. And did you guys was that levity that you guys were talking about in between scenes, is that pretty imperative to your working process? You can't be dark all the time. Is that a difficult thing? Obviously, this character would be pretty difficult to live with 24/7. You know, he's being haunted by something, you know, he says he doesn't commit. So what was that about?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Eric is going through a lot. And one of the things that helped me kind of stay in it was, as you can tell, for like the first 4 or 5 episodes, I didn't have a scene off. So I shot every scene all day. And, you know, that'll take its toll on you. And so I just played the fatigue. I just let it happen. And it was fun because, you know, when you're wearing these like really nice suits and these ties and you're supposed to be this wealthy, well put together guy, but inside you're dying. You know, because the loss of your wife and, you know, everything else that's going on and all these accusations and obviously the discoveries, the secrets and the lies surrounding your family members, it all takes its toll on you. And it was more about trying to convey some sort of internal combustion, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a roller coaster ride for him, obviously emotionally. And one of the things about you've worked in off Broadway and the theater, that sort of thing, where you're getting instant reaction. Now with television, you're filming these things and it's going out to the ether, and then all of a sudden these episodes are starting to hit. And social media is one of those great, forums for people to communicate now. Hashtag Secret and Lies. I know that's a popular thing. So, what's it like to communicate with the fans after an episode's come out? Dealing with their reactions. People get so emotionally involved with these characters. With your character in particular.
Yeah, TV has. I mean, and it's almost necessary, but it has become completely interactive. You used to sit there and watch an episode of The Love Boat. Or Knight Rider.
Yeah.
And you just sat there and watched. And now you have access to the people who are on your screen. And, sometimes it's hard to actually watch the show because you're,
Yeah.
I got to tweak that line that he just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's, you do what you got to do, and then some people pause it and keep it going. But, what I enjoy is when people find, like, certain lines exciting, like I called Melanie. I told her to her face in Sunday's episode, I said, all you are is convenient. And so many people just, they just kind of fell for that line, you know what I mean? And they love that kind of stuff. And that's how you make it interactive. That's how you make it fun for everybody. And I think shows like this, shows like Secrets and Lies, what's appealing about them is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it gives every single one of you the opportunity to be the jury. Like, here's this case, and now you're watching it all play out, and you're deciding who's guilty and who's not. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I right?
Yeah,
all right, then. You think it's me? I did it? You think it's who? You think it's my brother?
Oh.
Lazy Charlie. Okay. Your mom thinks this is my dad. Okay.
There you go. Wow,
Good
it's
guesses.
all over.
It is Terry O'Quinn.
It's true. It's running the board right there. I like the communicate. It's like the first jury duty anybody's ever excited for. It seems like.
You would think that shows like this would make people more excited to go do jury duty, but no, it's still like, no, I'm unavailable. Yes, no, yeah. People try to steadily get out of jury duty.
Are you able to watch this show Sunday night? Are you watching with friends, with family? Or is it something that you're able to take in?
Yeah, it's tough for me to be able to see the East Coast feed because I'm on the West Coast, and that's like bed and bath time with my son. So I'm like.
Not sure if you can hear that on the internet, but that was a lot of Oz.
Yeah, so like that's why it's hard for me to do the East Coast. But the West Coast, I tend to try and catch up on the West Coast. But the East Coast time, that's me. That's daddy time.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
There we go.
Said daddy time.
There we go. One more time. Not placating at all. Tell me a little bit about what we can expect coming down Aaron's path. I mean, there's so many, and I've seen some of the episodes that are coming up. I mean, it's a lot of twists and turns. I mean, get the audience prepared. I mean, what can we expect to roll out over the next couple episodes? Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse?
It gets worse for Eric.
Yeah.
It gets worse for Eric, and the things that come out in the last, I think it's about 3 more episodes. The things that come out in the last 3 episodes are like earth-shattering, and the whole entire crew had theories on who the killer was. And when I tell you that no one guessed it, I'm not exaggerating. Like, no one guessed it. No one. So, I mean, until you read that last script, you did not know. And that's, I tip my hat to the writers for keeping it, complex enough so that you can't quite just nail it down.
Is that a...
Or can you?
Okay. Is that that's got to be a hard secret to keep. I'm sure you're with friends or family and out, at the bar, and I'm sure they're prying you.
As soon as they rolled out the trailer over the summer, and I was shooting a film. And one of the ADs came up to me and said, "Hey, man, I just saw a trailer for a show you did called Secrets and Lies. Yeah, I saw the first. Did you do it?" And like every day for the rest of the shoot, he was like, "Hey, Mike, how's it going, man? Good, good. Did you do it? Was it you? Come on, just tell me. You can tell me. You can tell me. The show hasn't started. You can tell me. You can tell me." And it's like, and I realized that, everybody wants to know that answer, and so did I. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Yeah. So did I. I told Barbie up front, I was like, you know what? Don't tell me. Let me play it organically. I just need to know how. I don't want to start twirling my mustache or something like that. So let me just play it safe. And so I did not know.
Yeah, and is that also, this is an anthology series, is that one of the benefits of a show like this where you can really dive deep into a character, know that you're going to see it from the beginning to the end, and then sort of walk away, be able to, give it this whole season arc, it's kind of a beautiful thing.
The benefit of doing like a show like this, you do one season and you do a storyline. It's kind of like a long movie or a mini series whereby you kind of know. Like normally you would know the outcome. On this one, you don't know the outcome. So that benefit that you typically have for most shows, it's just not there. And you really, and it made it frustrating at times. I would go to the writers sometimes and be like, "Why am I saying this?" Okay, stop. Is there a payoff for this line? You know what I mean? Because there might be a payoff for this line. It might not make sense to me right now, but I'm sure there's got to be some sort of payoff for this. And they would tell me, whether or not there was, and we would go from there.
Yeah, and is it sort of give it this the ending? When you're shooting the final episode that you're going to shoot, you get to say goodbye to these guys. It's the last goodbye. I mean, that must be a rough scene to film and a tough moment.
I absolutely loved our cast and crew, and we had an amazing 4 months together, and it was sad to see everybody go. It really, really was. It was almost like it was the kind of thing where you were like, "We can't do one more." You know what I mean? Like, we can't do one more. Like, everybody felt really good about it, and and like I said, they were just a great group of people. So the final episode was a little bit tough, but we had been through the ringer with each other. We got through it.
Yeah, and you've obviously starred in a lot of TV series before this. I mean, did this sort of help you see where you want to go next? What kind of roles you want to do next? How did this experience differ from things like The Following and other works you've done?
The Following. I got what I needed to get out of this show. And in terms of what's next, I know right now I don't have an interest in a crime drama per se, but I do have, I have my heart set on 2 particular projects that I can star and produce, and, I think they will be gripping. I really do. I think both of them will be very gripping. And so I think right now there's kind of a renaissance in television with shows like Atlanta that are kind of changing. The paradigm is shifting in that, you're seeing shows that don't have, a hospital or cops. You know what I mean? And it's just people kind of living their lives in certain places, and that's becoming interesting. That's what people want to see. So that's the direction I'd rather go in next time.
Do you find yourself leaning closer to television more than film? You've obviously done plenty of both over your career.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Sleeper Cell, I've been, enamored with the television medium when it's done right. When it's done right, I'm always enamored with the television medium, and that's why I'd like to star and produce in certain shows so that I can, have some say in how it's done and how it's done right.
And can you tell us a little bit about Jacob's Ladder? I know you just rapped on that. You mentioned rapping on that. I mean, what can people expect from that?
Jacob's Ladder. It's kooky.
Yeah.
It is as much of a mind fuck as the first one. You know what I mean?
That's a
If you've
trailer
seen
right there.
The first one.
Put that in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I just saw a cut of it about 2 weeks ago, and it is, yeah, it's trippy. It's trippy, and I've never done anything that trippy. Like Perfect Guy was about as creepy as I've ever been, and this wasn't about being creepy. This was like, it was trippy. Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe. I can't wait for you guys to see this one. It's unique.
Nice. And before I throw out to the audience for questions, got to ask a little bit about Las Vegas, being on set with those legends. I mean, tell me about any stories from working with those guys.
Which one?
Las Vegas?
Oh, yes, Las Vegas. Yes. Well, Morgan Freeman played my dad.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. Mic drop. Come on, guys.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman played my dad, and like, it was so cool because, he does have this incredible voice. So when he says, Michael, you're like, you know what I mean? And then you just want to walk up to him and say, just say Andy Dufresne.
Yes.
Just say Andy Dufresne one time.
Yeah.
Say Shawshank. You know what I mean? Like, you want him to say these things. But I kept it cool. I didn't ask him to say anything. But that was an interesting movie because Jerry Ferrara and Romany Malco, who I had done Think Like a Man, all three of us were on this movie, and we were all in the same scene. And we were just laughing, about how that happened. You know what I mean? And what it's like to work with these legends is it's like a dream come true. You know what I mean? It really is a dream come true, especially Mr. Freeman. He was amazing. He was deathly sick, which made it hard to like hug it out, but he was cool.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I think we have some questions out there in the audience. Right there.
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
Hello. So my question. So you've been in like so many different types of roles. Like about last night, we were like so in love with you and judging our own boyfriends now, and like Perfect Guy, you were like crazy as hell. Like, what's your favorite role to play?
That's a tough one. It comes down to whatever challenges me the most, I think. Again, I think Jacob's Ladder, that pushed me to the limit. Perfect Guy was kind of, it was fun because obviously I hadn't shown that darker side. Different jobs appeal to me for different reasons. Even Theo in The Following, I'll never forget that character, and finally playing a character who romanticized death, as opposed to a woman. You know what I mean? It was like he romanticized death, and killing people was sexual to him. That's going to a darker place. That's going to a place that I don't live in daily. So anytime I challenge myself, that's going to be my favorite role. And I hope that answers your question.
Question right there.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for being here. We have the same name, so I appreciate it.
Good man. Good man.
So, what special advice would you give to up-and-coming actors that's trying to make it in this business?
Special advice. The timing of this is brilliant. Okay. I think that, like a doctor, you should study. I think it helps to study the craft before you pursue it because, yes, there's a lot of business things that you're going to learn by experience, but the craft will keep you focused on what's the most important, which is the work itself. And it'll keep you in character. And, doing plays 8 times a week can only help you when you have to do 15, 20 takes. It can only help you. And you stop looking at those takes as, another take. You look at it as another opportunity to get it right, which is what happens when you do theater and when you've actually studied the craft. So, For me, you know, I think it's always good to be qualified for the position that you get. So I think training and studying is a way to get there. That's the best thing I can advise to young people who are trying to enter this field. Don't just wing it.
Yeah, it's great advice. Okay. One last question over there.
So it works for some people.
Oh, hello?
Hi.
Hi, thank you for coming. I think that's so cool that you got to work with Morgan Freeman. Are there any other kind of iconic actors, directors, whoever that you kind of dream to work with, aspire to work with? Or was that like the pinnacle? Because I mean, Morgan Freeman.
No, there's no such thing as a pinnacle. I mean, I think for me, there's always going to be a director that I want to work with. There's always going to be an actor that I want to work with. I was very blessed when I was young. I did a movie with Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins. And I did a scene with Anthony Hopkins. I never made the movie, but just to be this close to Anthony Hopkins was like just jaw-dropping to me at the time. And at this point in my career, it's more about I want to go and play chess with Benicio del Toro. Like I want to go and work amongst the best so I can get better. I want to have Steve McQueen come up to me and give me a note. Because that's the only way I'm going to get better.
Absolutely. Well, guys, tune in to Michael's amazing work on Secrets and Lies, Sundays on ABC. Guys, one more time for Michael.
Thank you.